There we go. I'm going to start with a review of the S&P on the 4-hour, and then I'll switch to Bitcoin's general levels, and then I'll do Ethereum's general daily levels, and then we'll do the weekly setup for the hourly trades on Bitcoin, and then the hourly trades on Ethereum. Now, the S&P, I believe, has had its relief rally, so to say, and will be coming back down for either a double bottom or a lower low. In my opinion, it's going to come for a lower low. I'll show you the path. So this is the peak formation right here. There we go. This triple top formation. From the peak formation, we've had a retest of the peak formation, what you call a support line. Then we're coming back down, and then we're gonna do probably something along these lines. A three-step down descent on the 4-hour, and then a double bottom, and then on the 4-hour, but it's actually the daily time frame. It's just that on the 4-hour we have a little bit more detail. So this retest of the peak formation support line on the S&P to me is not great news, because that to me spells a bit more doom than I anticipated initially, because I thought we had already done a level 2, and we're going to come down for a level 3. If this is a retest of the peak formation support line, that means we're about to do a level 2, then come up, and then do a level 3. So it's not looking great. It is in a way quite to be anticipated. I removed the path because I want you to see the levels. It is to be anticipated given the fundamentals that we're having at the moment. So we seem to be facing a world economic crisis. So I believe that's again another step down for the stock market, then a smaller lift, and then another step down is in line with what I believe will happen. But I'm going to keep an eye on it again, level by level, because where we are right now, here it is. We only have what's on our left to anticipate between. Like, we don't have a formation at the moment. I could take this little channel here on the 4-hour, and I believe it's met its target. But this channel is, in my opinion, quite thin, and too thin to look at in the bigger scheme of things, as we have things happening these days. So here it is, and yes, the target is met. Now my next level will be slightly lower, which is why I'm starting this week's analysis with the S&P, because I believe we have a small drop to make. Well, today's just closed. We've had the end of the session move, but tomorrow we'll probably see this level being reached. I believe that will happen because the 4-hour stochastic is heading down, and the regular RSI on the 4-hour is also heading down. So I believe the stock market will have a push down tomorrow, which might affect our shorts for tomorrow, and then we'll see what will happen at this level. If this level breaks, then the next one is right about here. We have do we have 2 touches and 3 pierce throughs? Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Yeah, super. And then we can get another level just to prepare ourselves for what's coming, another level down here. And again, I won't be taking the percentages because the percentages are different from crypto. We know that the stock market is a lot less volatile than crypto, but the movements are quite similar. So when it, for instance, the stock market did what Ethereum did to a T. They mirrored each other. Not Bitcoin, weirdly enough, but Ethereum, because it had more lift energy to its fundamentals. So here we are. I believe that tomorrow we'll see a push down to this level, and we'll see how that's met. Now, that's again the 4-hour projection for what I believe will happen. In terms of our Bitcoin daily levels, we have fallen out of this daily channel. Now, this daily channel is massive, and to me it's the most important structure that I'm watching at the moment, because it is doing a very repeated pattern. So it's fallen out of the channel. It seems to have bottomed out at 19,500. It did a higher low. So these are all lower lows. It did a higher low, and to me it looks like it wants to go up and back test the 20 EMA on the daily, which would be the move that it makes before breaking down even further. Now, I've rarely seen daily structures break out and not meet their daily targets, and by that I will, because we're doing a trade setup session, I will demonstrate to you, for instance, this ascending triangle here on the daily, which seemed to have very few swings. It broke out, met its target, there we go, and even created further momentum to the next support and resistance line. Then I'm going to take this channel here, broke out, back tested, met its target, broke the target was on the neckline of this big M formation on the daily Bitcoin chart, and then it actually made more momentum and pushed down even further to the next line and then the next line. This was a killer for any longs that got in here, because it was if you weren't over margin, it was a 12% move. So everybody from the 10xers upwards would have been liquidated coming in here on this support line on the first day. But again, I'm taking this triangle and its measurement, I'm putting it here, there it is, next support line broke a little bit below it. So you can see, because we are in a downtrend and it keeps dropping, it creates momentum as it drops out of the structure, and not only does it meet its technical target, but generally goes to the next support and resistance line. My next support and resistance line for Bitcoin would be 16,600. My target for this drop would be 17,800, which would be higher, a little bit higher than the previous low, which again would be a great trap. But now, in the immediate short term, which is the next couple of days, we might see a lift to the 20 EMA on the daily, a back test to the previous support, which is perfectly normal. So it doesn't mean that we're going to change. Trend. It just means that we're back testing. We're back testing the previous structure. Very healthy to do for any breakout. This is what happened here. This is what happened here. It didn't happen here because there was a lot of momentum. Now, it would be great if we were to stop here, but I don't believe we're going to stop here. I believe something along these lines will happen, and it will take us down to the bottom of this daily channel, the white line, these two white lines. No, I just drew a scribbly yellow one. I'm gonna remove this one so that you can see it. And the reason why I'm saying that is because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, we need 5, and then 6, and then here probably after 6 we're ready for move up. And again, this is a simplified version of what I believe will happen. This part here at the bottom of the daily channel can be as long as this part here at the top of a daily channel. So whatever happened here at the top in this massive distribution stage will happen here at the bottom in a massive accumulation. So here we stayed for, let's say, from the first stop from the 19th of February to 19th of February till November. So second, 11, 9 months. We might be spending 9 months here as well, trying to accumulate to lift up and start again gaining more support rather than breaking through it. So again, I believe we've made from the peak formation only, so peak formation level 1, step 2, level 2, we still have one more leg down to make. My technical analysis says the next leg down will be around 13K. I've heard technical analysts talking about 10. I have 10 here. I'll put it on the chart because I want us to have it too, but I don't believe 10 is going to be it. It is a strong support and resistance level. Seeing a 10K Bitcoin will be quite surprising. So that's the day that would be the longer time frame analysis. The shorter time frame for this week is we might see a short retracement of this swing, the 15-minute swing we're in. Then we might see this week a lift up to the daily, the 20 or the 55 EMA here on the daily, somewhere around 22, 23K, between 21.5 and 23K. Anywhere around here would be possible, maybe even a slight pierce through the line of the channel and then coming back down. The trend is still down as long as we are holding below the 20 on the daily. The fact that it back tests and even maybe close above it for one day does not mean that we're changing trends. Changing trends needs to be confirmed at least with 2 daily candles that have conviction and have volume behind them, and also have the other indicators, not just the candles, the other indicators turned up as well. Now this is where we are on the daily chart for Bitcoin. I'm gonna move over to where we are for Ethereum so that you see the difference. Now Ethereum did a back test all the way up to the peak formation, so all the way exactly what the stock market had done, which again makes me believe that this is just level 2 here that it did, and it's gonna do another one, a level 3, all the way down to 450 would be my technical target if I am to measure the channel. Let me just change the slide slightly. Yes, there we go. So if I am to put the size of this channel down here, it would be somewhere between 550 and 450. This will be where the 2 taps and maybe 3, yes, we have 3 strike throughs. This are. Now we have a I'm going to show you the bullish divergence on the 4 hours a little bit later, but what we have now is a more there's a little bit more energy behind Ethereum's lift. Again, it broke through the previous resistance and it managed to move the 20 EMA away from crossing down over the 55, which is it is a pretty impressive thing to do in a day. the daily candle on Ethereum is looking very, very nice. As it stands, it's a lift today of 9%. So it is a nice candle. That's how it managed to push up that high. Again, Ethereum is in a descending channel and it hasn't finished its moves. I believe there's still one more swing down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So just like as much as Ethereum's lift was way ahead of what Bitcoin and XRP did in the same relief rally, I'll call it a relief rally, because for Ethereum it was a relief rally. From this bottom all the way up to the top, it was 133%. So as much as Ethereum's lift looks pumpy, it still has, I believe, one more level down to go. Now, I don't believe we're going to reach that level very soon, as in this week. I believe we have to go through first the double bottom situation, and then come down, break the previous arc, and move into a lower low, and then a level lower. And again, breaking the previous arc means coming down for a double bottom and then up for a final peak. And so in those moves, we would have the RSIs slowly rehabilitating. Now that is where Ethereum is on the daily channel. On the 1 hour channel, where we're going to do our trade setup, I'm gonna remove my my arrow, the blue one, because I have to show you something that's happening right now on the 1 hour. So, which is true of both Ethereum and Bitcoin. So right now, as we stand, we have turned the previous resistance into support. Now, what hasn't happened on Ethereum is a close back test of the previous resistance. We haven't touched it. We have come close to it, but we haven't touched it. Now, again, I will take the subjectivity out of it by moving this line a little bit higher and saying, okay, if this line were here, we consider it touched. Let's think that's reached and it's turned into, it's being held as support now. However, on the 1 hour, the stochastic is turned down and it's maxed out on the regular RSI as well. So the oscillators on the 1 hour show us that this swing has sort of like topped out. And what's just happened this hour, this spike up, might be it. There's also a volume divergence on the 1 hour. We have prices going up and volume coming down, which it's generally not a good thing, because it means that the lift has become unsustainable, and unless volume kicks in, we're gonna reverse. Now, in order for this to reverse, we need to see first and foremost the previous support turned into resistance. So we need to see this price action break below it. If we hold this, if this hour closes, it would be the 1, 2, 3, 4, the 5th hour that closes above this line. I see the next level as the potential next target, and I'll put the target here. Now, Ethereum has these, and I'll put it here a little bit lower, because look what happened here. Ethereum has these very clear 15-minute arcs where it does the mountain peak. So here it did a double top, mountain peak close to the previous level, broke down through the previous level, through the next one, and further down. So that might be what I believe will happen in this case. So the first thing that we need to watch for is this line. If it closes above it, that means we're gonna go up one more level. This swing looks exhausted. It does look exhausted on the 1 hour, but if the 4 hour has kicked in, the 4 hour has kicked in with great support, because we have the 20 EMA on the 4 hour being held, but the stochastic is also at the top. So the oscillators on both the 1 hour and the 4 hour look exhausted. It could continue if the right energy is behind it, it could continue. Personally, I don't think it will. The trend is still down. There's still a lot of push down. The anatomy of the arc tells me that it's gonna head down. This was a mountain peak, and it reached the previous here like a resistance peak, and now it's coming down. So I believe that might be what's gonna happen. But we still have to see the levels being held or being broken. So if you started a small position short, I would keep it for the moment. But then if you're not watching it, I would either close it or put a stop loss to it, because if it keeps breaking previous highs, it's gonna keep going. Ethereum does that. Like if it's made a higher high, it's gonna keep going, it's gonna keep going. So unless this hour closes below this line, I would put a stop loss above it, because if it does the next hour a higher high, it's just going to keep going. And it's up to you if you want to be caught in that short or not. On the daily, Ethereum might go up and back test this channel line at 1743. So that might be our range. Here we have 16 for our next level, and then the next level is 1740. And again, to be generous, I'll say 1720, which would be in line with the daily channel line at 17. Let me just take this bubble and put it down here. 17, 20, 25 for the next, or 1730, the next 2 days, where the cursor lands on that line. So again, I wouldn't want to be caught in this short if I could close it in the next hour or so, seeing that it's not getting rejected. So I need to see rejection quite soon. If it's not rejected, look, you're in for a 60% in the red. And if you want a DCA all the way up here, know that you are DCAing. Know that you are DCAing against. Know that you are DCAing against a 4-hour trend. It only becomes a daily trend, and I wouldn't DCA against the daily trend on Ethereum. So if it breaks the 1650, the 20 on the daily, I wouldn't DCA against that, because again, it might have great pumping energy and push it higher. So we need to see rejection quite soon. Otherwise, it might just keep going, and it's not. It wouldn't look good for the shorts. I do believe that we will see some rejection happening. Let me just switch on. Okay. Just refresh the page. I want to check with Traders Reality to see if we have. Yes, we do. We do have a 15-minute reversal signal on. So technically, we should start reversing, and we've done on almost M5, so we should be coming down to M3. Now, I was looking at this on the Bitcoin and the XRP anatomy for this impulse. I would be putting my take profits from the short at M3 level. The reason being, it might just come down to there, and on the 1 hour, so the M3 is a little bit higher than this level, so it might do a 1 come on. One, just a second. Okay, so it might do a 1, 2, 3, coming down, not breaking the 1, 4, 5. So it might want to do that. So I would take my profits at the M3 level, and the M3 level would be above 1460, I would say 1470. Let me check for precision. 1470, yeah. So I would take my profits at the 1470 mark, just to be sure I get out, and then I see what it does at the M3 level, because the M3 level is famous for reversal. So if Monday does a lift and a drop, then Tuesday can continue with a lift, and it might want to do the back test of the 20 EMA on the daily. So I noticed that I started with, probably because Michael is on, I started with the ETH trade setup, and I'll finish with that. So first trade that I would see is again going with using the oscillators. The first trade would be from where it is now. Let's say if you entered slightly lower, let's say it breaks this resistance line. You're waiting for that confirmation as well, and then my target would be, I can't believe ETH did a 9% lift today. My target would be 1470. There we go. And I know, again, it's not a huge profit. It's not a huge profit. It's 2.8, and you've been very careful, you know, waiting for this resistance line to break as well. So a 2.8 would be a safe likely profit to get from this trade, and that would be again, that would be a great profit on the day. Then wait to see what the MAs are doing when it reaches this level tomorrow, because this might be the third drop on the 15-minute, and it might still keep the support on the 15-minute. So even if the hour resets and the 4-hour catches a breather on the stochastic, this might still hold nice support on the 15-minute, the local one, when it happens. So it's good to keep an eye out after you've taken profit and see the structures that are formed. Now, also because Michael is here, your idea of not trading against the trend if you're not watching it is absolutely brilliant. So I'm going to mention it as well. When you're longing, because I know there will be a back test, and I know there might be people longing. I will be longing as well, a possible back test. You have to be minding it constantly. You have to be minding it constantly, because it might not meet targets. For instance, what happened here just didn't meet the previous level, so that it doesn't give you your profit, and then starts heading the other way around down. So that might be a thing. So be mindful when you're longing not to get caught if you're not looking at it. So that would be the first trade would be a correction down to the 1470. Then from there onwards, it might head up and do again another back test of this, and if this is back tested again and it holds, then going up to here. Now, these would be the two most immediate trades. After these two trades, if here it breaks this impulse and it starts, and again, let me put a fib on this impulse just to make sure. This would be, so our target would be the golden pocket, and again, Ethereum likes its 702, it likes its 786, but if we do see it stubbornly bottoming out at a 0.5, that means it's probably going to head up a little bit faster than anticipated. So there needs to be a fair bit of thinking on our feet and watching the swings as they happen these days, because the ranges are so tight, and it's the trend is low, but it's low in a sideways motion. So unless you're willing to wait until let's say you're in the profit that you want to, or you're a little bit in the red and you want to close a trade, I wouldn't leave a trade running for hours and hours and hours without watching it, because there's a lot of volatility at times. So yeah, these would be the two, like again, in the order of my logical preference would be the correction of this impulse from the breaking of the resistance down to 1470. However, if you're in a short already, and if you see this hour closing above the resistance line with no intention, so despite the indicators telling us that it's going to reverse, you see no intention in that reversal happening, I would close the trade. I would maybe take a small loss, if because I would like to be free tomorrow to see what kind of structure Asia has for this. So yeah, make sure you trade safely, and if you do want to follow this short and you're in a short, put a stop loss above this high, because you don't have to close it, but if you put a stop loss above the high, it gives you the freedom to, you know, be stop lossed out, and then see tomorrow what trade is available on the day. Because if Ethereum has a habit of making higher high after higher high and then trapping you into big moves, like this move was a 10% move today. Imagine almost a 10% move today. People that started, you know, shorting somewhere around here, they would be in serious red numbers around now. Now, these two would be the most immediate trades. I will move now to the 15-minute arc for bigger trades this week. I'll put them on the 1 hour arc, but I will calculate them on the 15-minute arc. So again, I'll take the midline of the arc as target. If we have, because this arc is going to play out this week, if we have a break upwards from this arc, and again, I only have a couple of peaks here, but I can make a line between them. If it breaks out, let's say somewhere around here, around, let's say Friday, I've noticed they like breaking out things on Friday. 1670. So 1670 would be our breakout trade up around here. Yes, that would be this target being met. So because the arc is a little bit higher, I would move this target up a little bit higher as well. I would put it somewhere around here, 1650. There we go. So this would be our next target. And where is it? There we go. If the arc breaks down, we would have 1216. Let's see where that puts us on the daily levels. 1216. 1216 is it 1216 or 1260? Just a second. Ah, no, it is 12. It's not 16. Sorry, it's 1270. 1270 to be a bit more precise. And I think it is yes, it is this support and resistance level that, look how beautiful this is, very mathematical, which is the previous support and resistance level that Ethereum broke out of to create this beautiful swing up of 133%. So it will be back testing this structure, and this is where today's arc would take us, which I find absolutely fascinating. So if we break the 1470, so the next level is around here. $12.80, and this is the more conservative. Let's say $12.90. Let's be even more conservative with this. Better to be safe than sorry. So these two would be the ranges that we could go to. Now you can see why I believe that first we will correct. First, from where we are right now, we will correct down to, let's say here. Then we might come up here. Then we might come back down to maybe the 1470 or maybe even the previous one for the final peak, final bounce, final retrace. So this is what I believe might happen in the bigger picture, step by step this week. But as I see the bigger, clearer moves in terms of the two directions, that's where I see Ethereum moving and the levels that it's moving between. And I think the space of the 15-minute arc will give us indications. Now we need to keep an eye on it because we do have a nice line here between 3 points. But I would like this line confirmed again by, let's say, a higher low. If I have a higher low here, like a 1-2 from this mountain peak formation, I would be a little bit more confident that this is it. It's not moving anywhere outside of this space. So this is what I like to see happen here. In the next, let's say, hour or so, maybe another back test with a lower high, and then coming back down for the correction. And again, the correction might be, if the correction on the 15-minute is only down to here, then this might have been a 1, 2, 3, 4 down to here, and then maybe a 5 up here, which would change the parameters of the 15-minute arc, and it would bring C up here, and in this way we would have a little bit more space. And again, we would take I would take my targets and I would adjust them slightly. So we are in very volatile circumstances, which is great for trading. Like, I know it looks like it looks like the ranges are not high enough. The ranges are not high. That's the truth of it. But there are swings within those ranges, and if you make 2% times 10, 20% on each swing every day for a week, you can make 1x, 100%. And let's say you give 30% back to the market because you had to close some trades, and let's say even 50%, you give back 50% because you've won half your trades, you've lost half your trades. You have a 50-50 win-lose ratio. You've still made 50%. So as much as this looks like it's not going anywhere, it is actually ranging. It is actually ranging and giving us trading opportunities. But we need to be very careful, and we need to watch them because they can be quite tricky. Now we've hit the high average daily range on Ethereum. It's going to cost the market makers a lot more to keep it going up from this point onwards, and I don't think they will. But they might spend a bit of time here collecting orders. So that's how I see Ethereum moving this week. That's the space that I see it move between. Basically, where we are right now is the middle. We can go up to 1750, or we can go down to 1250. So we can move up $200 or down about $300. And I am favoring the down because we are in a downtrend. Michael, do you have any questions? How is this compared to your own TA? Because I know you have your own TA and it's quite good and you're very mindful of the trend.
Well, you have a lot more detail. Your levels are more clear. But basically, I think I agree with you that we're in a downtrend, medium time frames, and actually some longer time frames too, daily, weekly, and so forth. So I'm just kind of taking the idea that if I do any against the trend, like you said, I'm going to make sure it's a really good trade, and I'm going to keep my eye on it a lot more. And if I'm trading with the trend, yeah, I still need to watch it. But it's safer.
Absolutely.
So I decided, to do way less counter trend trading. Not none, but and so basically, you gave me a lot more detail, but I more or less agreed with you. I also was surprised that you came up with the same number on Bitcoin and Ethereum for the possible ultimate low. And I'm kind of hoping it'll reach that.
Do you have
and
a
I
buy order there?
around there. But if it doesn't, as long as I'm making money trading, then it's okay.
Very good. Yes. Super. Excellent. Like it's great. It's great to check in because I do a lot of short-term trading right now, and I'm watching the 15-minute swings basically in the background of the 1 hour and the 4 hour. I know I have to keep an eye on the daily levels, but the daily levels can be very tight at times. So yeah, Ethereum has great ranges compared to Bitcoin and XRP. It has a really nice range to trade in. I just yeah, we need to mind the daily because the daily can be very. It's very close. Like the lift that it did today, it's very close this week to crossing back up over the 20, and if it crosses back up over the 20 and it holds it, then it's looking like we might have our another lift in that rally. And if it doesn't break, what's more important, if it doesn't break this 1290, which would be the level that that the 15-minute arc would lead us to, this could be and again, I know that's the problem with Elliott wave theory because it offers you so many possibilities. This could be a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then heading up for 5. So it could be actually a fourth top in this formation, which would be a little bit odd. Like another swing from here to here would be another 50% crazy in this fundamental background. But we need to keep in mind, and if price action does go above the daily, and it doesn't break that 1290 level downwards, we need to keep in mind that there might be a change in narrative. But we need to have also great fundamentals for that to be sustainable. Okay, super. Now let me do Bitcoin. Let me do Bitcoin in the same way. I'll update you on the daily basis, depending on how our levels move throughout the Asian session and the UK session, because we don't have too much data at the moment in terms of where this is going, except for the support that it's holding on the 4 hour. Now, speaking of the support that it's holding on the 4 hour, Bitcoin is doing another lift because it did a 15-minute reset here. Let me check to see how much of a reset that was. This was a 0.382 reset. I think it's too small for this to be the correction of this swing. Also because this swing had a it was a almost a 50% swing, so half the size of Ethereum's. Now, what did I want to say about Bitcoin's levels? Yeah, I'll take you again to the 15-minute arc. So the 15-minute arc, I believe, has had its mountain peak. It's had its double top mountain peak, and I am mindful that this might not be double top. Like, this might not prove to be double top. Maybe this proves to be double top, and then the first drop, which would be somewhere around here, and then a lift up. So I am mindful about that. However, I'm also mindful that sometimes I am too slow to call the double top, because it doesn't like, for instance, here I didn't see this as a double top. This was actually mountain peak, and it did a third drop, and then a final bounce, final retrace here in this space, which was really fast. But I believe in terms of the duration of the arc, this is the double top. So it happened, there was a drop on the 27th, we had the double top, and the first drop completed the next day, mountain peak on the next day. So in about a week or so, by a week I mean 5 days, 5 trading days, this week we will see this arc move somewhere, maybe along these lines. And again, I would be more comfortable having another point on this, so another swing. I might have to wait another day or a couple of sessions for this. But as it stands, it's a very steep divergence line. There it is. But I will keep it like that for me to know the breakout a little bit more precisely. So here's the 15-minute arc. I will use it as a way to measure a possible breakout in it. And I know I am being very conservative when I'm putting the midline, but it's better to be conservative than to overestimate. So the breakout trades from this 15-minute arc for this week would be 21, 100, which I believe is very conservative for where we are at the moment. I think it'll come up at least to 21.7, so the late 21,000s rather than the early 21,000s. And then the dropout would be 18. Yes, I agree with that, especially because this would... Let me show you the... this is the daily channel. This is the daily channel in 15-minute in its 15-minute potential. So if I put... I don't know why this is so tiny now. Probably my channel was a little bit narrower at that point. If I put the same target here, let's switch them to this. If I put the same target here, it will bring me down to this. Now, there we go. This trend line, I will call it. Now I've had this here, and then I decided to move it like this, just to see, because it's I've seen it. No, I've had it like this. Yes, perfect. I've seen these top channels forming at times on the 15-minute, and I've always said, why don't I keep an eye out on them for the daily as well, just as a confluence checking means. So this one, if it breaks out of this channel, the target would be 8,300. And again, we do have plenty of support around that area. I'm not sure it will go down so low, but I will use this trend line to map a potential breakout. So I'm not necessarily going to use the target of this trend line, but I am finding it surprising how the target of this channel brings me so close with its breakout to the target of that line. It is a little bit uncanny to me. Now let me change back to the 15 minutes before I go too much into the daily time frame. Okay, so these two would be 18,200 would be the level for the breakout, and I would say late 21,000, mid 21,000 would be the level for the break upwards. How does that sit with our 1 hour levels? So Bitcoin did what I was talking about Ethereum doing. It came back to the resistance line, it back tested it, and now it looks like it wants to use it as a lift to go up to the next level, which is 100. So the closer target of that 15-minute breakout. Now I don't believe that 15-minute arc is ready for breakout where it is, so I don't think we're going up to that target yet. I believe we're going to come down, maybe not break the 19,800, come down and do a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then head up to a higher mountain peak, and then a final peak and a final bounce, and so on and so forth, the movements in the arc. So as it looks at the moment, Bitcoin is holding this support line. Again, I am in a short here, and I am looking, I'm going to watch it for the next couple of hours because I don't like the way it's holding the support line. I'm doing a small swing trade, so I don't want to be caught in this trade all the way up to where it might go. I don't want to be caught 15% in the red when I could close this at minus 6% and be able to follow it in the morning wherever it is, and make that 6% back. I don't want to do that where we are right now. Now another possibility would be, let me just remove this because I don't need these. So the first most likely trade as we are right now is holding this support line, and we've just closed. So again, by the time we finish talking, I'll probably have my answer. So the first trade is from where it is right now up to here, 21,000. If it breaks this, I believe the 22 would be the next support and resistance line. And I know there are some more lines here, but this was the level that it broke out of before making this sideways formation. So I believe it's going to come up to test the late 21K or early 22K. I don't believe it's going to go higher than that, and then come back down, and that would coincide on the daily with 21.6, somewhere between 21.6 where the 20 EMA is and 22.5 where the 55 EMA is. So any place in that space would be possible. And again, if you are shorting because you're going against the trend, seeing a possible rejection, it's between them there's a space of 30%. So be prepared to maybe if it wants to go up to 55, I would be willing to follow it up there and go 30% in the red, and have a stop loss above that 55, because if it breaks it generously above that 55, if it breaks it, it would be good to step away and see what it's doing, because it might decide to hold it. So it's I'm very cautious where we are right now, because the oscillators on the daily are at the bottom and the oscillators on the 4 hour are at the top. So there's generally, that means sideways, and generally that means very conflicting sideways, at times very choppy waters. So the 4 hours needs right now a correction down, I believe. It's getting rejected. The 4 hour couldn't close on Bitcoin above the 20 EMA. It got rejected. It has a doji candle here for rejection. So again, the push down seems more likely where we are right now. But how far this push down will go, it'll show itself, and we'll have to keep an eye out for that. So from where we are right now, when it breaks that support and resistance line, it could come down to 19,800. This is where my target for the short is, and it's about 20% in profit. It's not 20% of profit. It's not a great profit for a short, but I'd rather close it there and see what will happen along this line, because it could come down here, make a double bottom, and that double bottom would be the great 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up to 22.5. That might happen too. But I will have to wait and see. This would be the decision point. And again, I don't want to be caught. I keep repeating that, because these are very treacherous swings to trade. It could flip if the day takes over and keeps pushing it upwards. Sorry, I was just checking now to see if the 15 has any reversal on XRP. No, just a bearish divergence. Okay, so the most obvious trade here to make would be from here down to here, a small swing, a small short. The next one would be when it reaches this bottom line. If it reaches this bottom line, and if it forms any structure here going up to the 21.5, or I would separate my position into two smaller positions. I would start longing here if it holds support, and then if it drops here, add some more, and then follow it up here. And I would put a stop loss, a very tight stop loss for my position once I DCA in here, the second part of my position, above the previous low, because it could spike the previous low and then head up. So I am looking at what will happen along these lines. These lines are essential. The bottom line, basically, the bottom line and the support and resistance. Now, once it reaches the 21K, the next level would be the 22K. I wouldn't have a target at the moment higher than 22K, unless the levels on the daily traders reality change and they become a little bit more optimistic. But 22K is basically back into this channel, back here in this space, which is not impossible, but I wouldn't take my I wouldn't have my profit tied to a number above the 22K. I would just take it at 22K. Not unless, again, we have some specific structure that makes me be very positive about that. So we have, I believe we're looking at another week of something similar to this, very choppy waters, very choppy sessions. I'm keeping an eye on what the sessions are doing and how the sessions are working together, so that when we do our post-trade analysis this Thursday, we can have a look and see how the 3 sessions work together. Maybe gain some insight there. But again, we are moving within a fairly small space, bigger than the one before. So that's the positive. So compared to this arc here gives us a little bit more space, and it seems to have a bit more volatility in it, which is great. So we will have a little bit more profit to be made following the swings. But what we need to do is be quite conservative with our targets, because given the volatility, the swings can move up and down, and we can get trapped. Not necessarily liquidated, because we're not talking about big ranges. So the biggest range from where it is right now on the daily. Let me change to the daily. So again, I'm giving you the biggest range towards the 55 would be 12%. I doubt that's going to happen in one day. So if I take the no, okay, for hour, let me go. If I take them, so the biggest one is 12%. So we need, if you want to be super safe and not be liquidated shorting here, you might need to add a bit more to the margin. But I wouldn't. I would just wait and see what happens at the 20, and that is a 7% lift from where it is right now. So I wouldn't add margin or DCA until I see what happens there, how that daily is met. If it's met with a rejection, if it's met with a decent volume candle, if it's met with and if it closes with a decent candle as well, because everything that I see at the moment is just volatile swings up and volume losing steam. Even if I change to the 12-hour. Very hard to see. There we go. So on the 4-hour we see prices. On the 4-hour we see prices going up, but the volume has come down. The biggest candle here was the sell-off. So we've yet to see where this is going to take us. I believe we're going to have our answer quite soon in the coming hours, and it will be connected to this line. I would be, how can I say? I'd be very surprised if this line doesn't break in the Asian session tonight, considering the oscillators on the 1-hour on Bitcoin, considering what's happening on the 1-hour, I believe this line will break, and it will give us a correction for tomorrow's lift. And I do believe that these, again, from my shorts, I plan on taking profit quite soon, and see what kind of support is held tomorrow at the start of UK, and then at the start of New York, because if support is held, I plan to go with this small time frame and go with the lift. Watch it, of course, closely, but again, it rarely happens that there's another drop without a back test of the daily 20 EMA or even the 55 EMA. That's it from me. That's where I believe we are. Again, Bitcoin looked incredible here for a lift. So did even here as well. It looked like a small Wyckoff accumulation. Every time I pull out the Wyckoff scheme, it turns the other way around and either pumps or dumps. So it happened the same way here, literally on the same I pulled out the Wyckoff, it just dropped like a lead balloon. And here we are today, watching it holding support, because it is still holding this line for support. It came and this is what gets me confident about going with the lift up, because as long as it's holding this consolidation line of support, it dropped out of it, it came back into it, and it looks like it wants to go to a higher level before doing another leg down. But as I said it on the chat, my mantra is we're still gonna meet the target of this channel. I've rarely seen a daily channel break without its target being met. It's rarely happened, if ever. I'll have to backtest before I make that absolute statement. But yeah, once these channels break, if price action doesn't go back in it and stay in it, it's gonna meet its technical target. So that's where we are with Bitcoin. I didn't take too long tonight because the conversation is quite simple. I'll keep you updated every day, and if you have any questions, let me know. Bitcoin still seems to be the market mover. I think Ethereum is leading in terms of percentages, but Bitcoin is moving with the market in terms of the moves. It's not doing its own thing. It's just moving a lot slower. The percentages are a lot smaller, which can be great for trading these particular choppy waters, because you're not going too much into the red. Even if you're not making too much profit, you're making constant profit because of how regular Bitcoin is compared to Ethereum or XRP. That's it from me. Do you guys have any questions?
Thank you.
You're very welcome, Michael. Very welcome. Let me know if you have any questions on the chat. Anytime you see a structure or anything, I like that you're asking me on the chat, because it's good to see it. So have a great night. Have a great day trading. Tomorrow, Wednesday and Thursday are great days in terms of volume. I'll check to see if we have any news tomorrow morning, and if there is something to be mindful about, I'll put it in the chats or in the morning conversation. Trade safely, and see you guys tomorrow morning.